Hi, Kristi Kane from ElderCircle Forum. Join me later today as I visit with Harry Hutchins and his assistance dog, Hayes. Harry, you have such a unique experience here with Hayes. Tell me a little bit about how she was trained.
Well, she was trained, she starts out with a couple of foster families that have her when she's a puppy, and then they are asked to do certain things with her as a puppy. The hardest thing, I think, must be trying to give this puppy back, and then from there it went to a prison, and the prisoners worked with her and started training her, and then after that she went to Can Do Canines, and the professional trainers worked with her then. And you know, they are pretty amazing. I'm so amazed at what these people can do. And then, of course, you get a dog that's, you know, people in the neighborhood can't believe how well trained she is, and she's not running around in people's yards and going here and there. So she stays, and we try to keep up a good image, I hope, for Can Do Canines. I mean, we you know, pick up her duties that she leaves behind, and make sure that things are still clean in the neighborhood and in our yard. And then she's just she does most of the work herself, and as far as being such a nice dog.
Well, I think the life of an assistance dog is fascinating, and thank you for joining us today. We're excited to learn more.
Very good.
Hi, welcome to ElderCircle Forum. I'm Kristi Kane, Executive Director of ElderCircle. At ElderCircle, we link our aging community members to programs, services, and volunteer opportunities to keep them active, independent, and in their own homes longer. Join me today with Harry Hutchins and his service dog, Hayes, as we learn a little bit about a mobility service dog, or a balance service dog. Thank you for being here today, Harry.
Sure, it's good to be here.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I taught at the community college level for 30 years, and a little bit at university level, and I've since retired. And one of the things that I've had, Kristi, was unfortunate for me, disability that came up later in life, and it's a genetic thing. And I had this mutation occur, and one of the things that the mutation did was affect my balance quite severely. So it's more difficult for me to walk. And so I had a friend at KEXE who encouraged me to look into getting an assistance dog. And I put in an application and was fortunate that about 3 weeks ago they called me up and they said, we think we have the dog for you.
Oh, so you've only had Hayes for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow. So Hayes is a little unique, I think, from my perspective, as a service dog. Usually when we think about service dogs, we think about dogs for people that are blind. But Hayes is a balance, or a a balance service dog.
They call him mobility assistant. Yeah.
Okay.
And also works with me because I've had a hearing loss too, due to the same disease. And so she, when the alarm goes off or the fire, the fire goes, the smoke detector goes off, she comes running to me and she'll nudge me twice, pretty hard with her nose, and then I just say, show me, and she'll start running to whatever it is, if it's my alarm clock going off, or if it's the, hopefully not, but if it's the smoke alarm, she's trained for that.
So it's interesting, she must understand the process of the events, because you said show me now and she didn't move, but she needs that cue first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
First she'll come and nudge me twice, you know, when she hears it. And, you know, one of the things we learned was you can't have it on a radio station, because she thinks it's just radio. It's just people talking again. And, but if it's an alarm, you know, some kind of buzzing or something like that, then she's trained for that, and then she comes over and goes into action.
now, who trained her? Where did you find her?
Well, it's a combination of people, and primarily, so she's 2 years old. She just turned 2.
Okay.
And in the start, Kristi, what she did was she lived with a couple of families growing up as a puppy, and then the initial training was actually by prisoners.
Oh.
And they have to really be you know, top-notch in their conduct, or they lose the privilege of working with a dog.
Oh, and I'm sure that is therapeutic for them as well.
It is, and that's really brings them quite down if they misbehave themselves and then don't get to continue with this dog program of raising dogs and training them initially. And then after that, then they go to the organization Can Do Canines,
Okay.
which is in New Hope, just about maybe 25 miles north of Minneapolis. And there's some couple professional trainers there that work with them pretty intensely for about 3 months. And when they start showing that they can do things, then it comes to me. I have to continue training with it, and they are also finding a professional trainer to work with me and Hayes.
Okay, so they're looking for somebody in the area that's certified, I would assume, in training these dogs.
Yeah.
Does Can Do train other types of service animals as well?
They do. They work with diabetics.
Oh, sure.
And so the dogs now can be trained to tell you when your blood sugar is low. And because that's even getting more difficult as insurance companies make it more difficult for you to be able to afford the assistance you need. And so the dog is something else to help you out with that, and does quite a job. Autism. And so the dog can really bring a child around that's autistic, and we watch some of that. What else? Yeah, hearing. The one thing they don't do at this place is sight, blind.
You just mentioned hearing, and earlier you said it's rare, but Hayes has 2 skills, and one is assisting with balance.
Yes.
And the other is hearing.
Yes.
And what would be an example of something specific to each of those? The hearing, you mentioned the alarm clock.
Yeah, and you know, smoke alarms. You know, some people probably need more. Use it more for that. For me, it's like getting up for appointments. At this point, you know, my wife, before Hayes, which she'd hear the alarm going off, but I didn't get up because so she would come over and nudge me. She was my assistant.
Really hard, probably.
You got to be at the radio station at 6. So, anyways, and the big thing I think is the confidence that she gives me, being a companion in the woods. I usually use her with a a walking stick also.
Okay.
So that, but it just yesterday, we were walking in the woods and I tripped over a root and fell, and through, just not trying to do it obviously, but through my cane went way up in front of me, and I called Hayes back. I always keep her on a leash, but I had lost the leash out of my hand also when I fell. And so I called Hayes back, and then I told her to brace, and there's nothing for me to grab on the trail. So I needed her to pull myself back up, and so that's an example of what.
So then she just gets close to you and braces her body so that you can use her for pulling up.
Yeah.
Would she also retrieve your stick?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I just say, get it, and she goes over and she'll pick it up and in her mouth, and then she'll. So
most of the time, when I think about a dog out in the woods, I think they're going to get distracted by, a grouse that takes off, and she doesn't. She's focused to stay with you.
Not really.
No. Okay.
That's a challenge, and that's what we're working on.
Okay. So because she's only.
But so she picks up a deer track smell, and she'll start going with that, and she'll tug me pretty good, and I have to then just say, leave it, and it might take a couple times, and then when she does finally leave it, then I'll reward her with food.
So it's pretty incredible discipline.
Yeah.
And she's only 2. This is part of the ongoing training that you both have to attend.
Yeah.
And who works with you when you go to this type of training?
Well, I just came back from a week down in New Hope working with her.
Okay.
And my test was a pretty intense test for me too, as well as Hayes, in the sense that I'm not used to big malls with mirrors and windows and perfume and Nordstrom's or something like that. She was just in shock. We took her there that was one of the big tests, and of course all the people, that's the other thing, the noises, the smells, and we took her into a restaurant. And my wife would go we went to the market, and she would take food or run into something and knock it over just on purpose. So, and that's all those things that happen around her. She needs to focus on me. And Kristi, I'd say that's why if you get a chance to look at the little vest that she carries, and that has some of the stuff we need in case an accident happens somewhere, but also it lets people know, hey, look, you don't pet me. I'm working for Harry. I have to focus on this work. And it's pretty stressful for the dog, too, to constantly be, listening to my commands, which one's coming next. And she's really gets focused and stressed out usually about these things over time. And she knows she's working when she's got that on, and she just, at home, I'll take it off and need it. But here, I want to make sure, and we want to make sure that, all the fun stuff, the food, the commands, the conversations that we have to do between each other comes from me. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of the one that she has to focus on, not you. Right. And so when someone comes up and, that's always the tough thing. I hate doing it, but I'm supposed to at this point, is when a youngster comes up, I want to come and pet that dog. And I just say, usually I let them touch her head a little bit, But for the most part, it's me that's supposed to be focused on this time.
So proper etiquette, really, for the viewers is if you see someone with a service dog, you should not approach the dog.
Yeah. And the new term now that they like using is assistance dog.
Assistance dog.
Okay.
And I noticed when you were working with her earlier, she was very intent at looking at your face, looking in your eyes, and she wasn't distracted by anything that was going on around. So she's catching on.
Yeah. If you saw her walking, especially in the woods with me, you'll notice that she, every once in a while, like every maybe 30 seconds, she'll look up at me. And so she's checking in to see, okay, does he want me to do, am I doing okay? You know, and she wants to hear from me that I'm also, I got to remember to say, nice job, not just give her food, but saying, you know, thank you, nice job, nice, you're doing good, you know, just letting her know.
Sure, so just developing a rapport.
Yeah, besides saying, you know, so she knows, or I'll say leave it, yeah.
When I was talking on the phone with you, she was getting into a little mischief in the house. So she's, you know, she has all the characteristics of a normal dog.
Right.
She wants to get into where she smells good smells and explore and be curious. But how long has it taken you to, you know, get used to having her?
It's, at times, it can be like having a 2-year-old child, in the sense that there's always someone dragging at your leg, someone that's a little bit too strong, but I mean it's like someone's always following you, you know, okay, you know, and she's always ready to work, and so I usually use the command to just say down, and then I'll say, like she is right now, I'll just say settle, and when I say settle, she usually, that's kind of her cue, okay, relax, you don't have to work right now, just take it easy and rest a little bit.
Okay. And what are some other commands you use often?
Well, obviously, things like sit or down are probably the biggest ones. And then the other one is when we're ready to go, like right now she's resting, but if I'm ready, if I need to go now, I just say, let's go, and she'll jump right up, and we'll head out the door or whatever. The other one I use in a city type of urban environment a lot is as I'll say, button, because there's usually disabled plates outside the door, like here at the YMCA.
Oh, sure.
And she'll respond to that really well, and she'll just jump up with her paws, and sometimes just her nose if it's low, and then she'll hit that plate, and then that opens the door for me automatically. So.
Harry, what do you do with KAXE?
I have a little, I guess the last 28 years or so, we've done a little volunteer show called A Talk on the Wild Side.
Okay.
And on Tuesday mornings.
And so this is what really probably feeds your interest in being out in the woods.
Yeah.
Or you need to keep that up to be able to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give some information to people so that they can go ahead and, they can go ahead and go outside and learn a little bit more about what or see a little bit more about what they might be observing in the woods up here in the northern part of the state. And you know, the other thing is, I guess it's just one of my ways I hope I can give a little bit back to the community. Absolutely.
Well, it's always, you said you were a teacher how many years?
30.
30 years.
Yeah.
And
just retired.
what did you teach?
I taught forestry, wildlife management,
Okay.
ecology.
So being active and outdoors has just been part of the fabric of your life forever,
Yep.
just as much as being in a classroom setting.
I try to live it, and yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And, you know, how would you say that having Hayes has helped in terms of that maintaining that autonomy or that ability to, that independence, I guess?
Yeah, you know, I think she collects ticks for me a little bit, and then I can easily get them off of her because she's yellow. Easy to find. But I think she's, yeah, she gives me that independence that I was missing the last few years, where I had to always find somebody else to go out with me. I had a neighbor up, we have about 80 acres up north of Grand Rapids here, and he would always go by and, you know, see if my car was there, and if my car was it was still there after a couple hours, he said, "Harry, I was coming in for you." So, you know, now I feel confident. I can get myself back up and start walking again, and also it's just kind of nice to have a companion. That peace of mind you get from having a pet like this. I've never had a dog, so all
really?
this is new to me.
Oh, wow. You do fantastic with her for
She's
never
good.
having one. From start to finish, you know, when you made your inquiry, and how long did it take to get a dog and get the right dog? I mean, did you try any others, or?
No.
Okay.
I just work with them, and I put the application in last September, so about 9 months ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took until April
Okay.
of this year. And they called me up in early April, and they said, "Harry, we think we have a dog for you." So I went down and I actually tried out 3 or 4. They said, "Well, you know, it's going to be a little difficult for us to find a dog that's going to be able to ride against your leg and help you with that kind of balance. And for me to brace or to lean against something and then to look up at the bird in the tree to see, to identify it or something." So they said, "But we think this dog is a good fit for you, at least we can train it to get you back up." And so they said she'll live a lot longer than a really big dog anyway. So I thought, oh, let's go with this and try it. And I've been trying it out. And you have actually a year, for 1 year, you can see if it works for you. And then if you did want to turn it back, you could. But I don't think there's any way I can do that now. We're pretty attached.
Yeah, I would expect you are.
Just in 3 weeks, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Well, she goes everywhere with you.
Yeah, she can go everywhere. Nobody can deny me coming in. But, you know, there's some things I just try to, you know, if it's a really long trip, and I don't really need to take her because my wife can look after her, then I'll just, I might leave her. Or if it's a really, really short trip, I just got to run to the market to pick up some bread or something like that. But I take her to the farmer's market, which has a big sign that says, you know, no pets allowed unless it's an assistance dog. And so she goes through with me. In fact, if I go I go every week to the farmer's market here in Grand Rapids, and if I don't take her, they get mad at me now. all the vendors say, "Where's Hayes? Come on." So, yeah, she's becoming, I mean, people like
part
her more than they like me, so that's who they want to see.
Is there things that you need to do with her on a regular basis to keep her skills sharp?
Yeah, I try to at least 5 times a day just practice most of the commands.
Okay.
And yeah, and try to keep her sharp, and we always go out for a walk together. I need it, she needs it, and so when we're walking, I can give her commands to do it too.
Oh, sure. How does your wife like her?
She likes her a lot.
She
does. She had a Siberian Husky before, so this is her and the children. My son's in Colorado now, but he still calls up and says, "I want to see this dog." They always were after me to get a dog, and I always was saying, "No, we don't need a dog," and too selfish. And so now it's like I've actually become part of the family, and not the one that they were always mad at me. Someone came up to me yesterday at the or a couple nights ago at the Rife Center and said, "Harry, you finally got the dog that your kids always wanted." my son would always go over and play with her son. So anyways,
So after all those years of saying no, you're the one that ended up with the dog.
And I'll have to say, this is a well-trained dog.
Yes.
Now, this dog, Hayes is, they estimate that they have $25,000 invested in this dog.
Wow.
Already. So, yeah, it's an amazing, they spent an amazing amount of time with her, and so,
So and you talk about cost, and I know it can be quite costly to get an assistance dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning. Is there programs out there to help people?
Well, this cost me nothing.
Oh, it didn't.
They gave me the leash. They gave me a bag of dog food. Something that can take a bottle of water with her and whatever. And me, and so it got me started in the whole thing, and certainly I pay for the vet costs now, but they paid for the original ones, and then this dog was nothing, cost nothing.
Okay.
Obviously we're going to repay them in the sense of donations and stuff, and we hope to try and raise some money for this organization.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is, free as far as that goes. If someone needs an assistant dog, they're not going to charge them.
Okay.
And they hope that you can somehow pay it forward at some point.
Okay.
Have a garage sale, have something like that, that you could earn some money
to get back
for this organization.
And so once your application is accepted, I'm assuming that's all part of the application process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to get 3 letters of recommendation and letters from doctors, and write a couple essays myself about why I need it and why I want this dog. And,
essay writing's good for the teacher too.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Well, good. Well, I'm excited to see some of the things that Hayes can do. I'm hoping we can see her in action in a little bit. And
she is asleep, resting, and you.
Yeah, I want to wake her up and put her to work. No.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you can think that our viewers might want to know about service dogs? Assistance dogs, I mean.
Assistance dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I would highly recommend it, for if you have a son or daughter or something like that, that autistic, has something like that disability, or you're someone that has some mobility issues. If you have someone that are diabetic,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really good option, and there are other things that they probably do that I'm not aware of, but Can Do Canines is down in New Hope, and there's a couple of, at least 3 dogs, I think 3 dogs now, that here in Grand Rapids that help people out. And I've seen somebody else here at the YMCA, and there's another friend of mine that has one in Coleraine, and she has a big lab, and that's a mobility dog too. So as we get older and as we are running into more and more new issues that take over our bodies, this is another opportunity to combat those things and help you out.
Right. Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
I mean, I think it's just a fantastic opportunity to learn about what these assistance dogs can do, and I wish I had one.
Hayes, can you get up? You want to visit? Visit? I know, I woke you up.
Better.
Can you come and visit? Visit? That's
Oh.
She'll take my sock off too. Hayes? Can you get my sock? You're almost there. Come on, Hayes. Get the sock. That's it. Good job. All right. Hayes, can you come? Come. Brace. Brace. Okay? Brace. That's it. Good girl. Good girl. Brace. Get it? Get Kane. Get it? Hey. Okay, you can get my leash too. That's good. Okay, get Kane. Kane. Okay, you want that on, don't you? Thank you for bringing your leash. Thanks, that was really helpful. Okay, can you get Kane? Get it? Can you get it? Thank you. Thanks for being so persistent. I know that's a different Kane, isn't it? You're not used to that.
All right, thank you for watching ElderCircle Forum. Now that we've seen Hayes in action, we're excited to continue seeing these service animals in the community and what they can do for our aging community members. I'm very excited to spend my last day on ICTV with Harry Hutchins. Thank you, Harry.
Sure.
And if you feel so moved, please consider making a donation to Can Do Canines. And remember, when you're out in the community, please don't approach these animals because they're working. So again, thank you, and I've enjoyed my time at ElderCircle. Please watch for our new ED and continued ElderCircle Forum.